My name is Mascha. I have created and helped shape the fine water category by telling the story that water is not just water. I have been studying fine waters for about 20 years, ever since I had to stop drinking alcohol, and I refocused my Epicurean curiosity away from the wine towards the water. 20 years ago, this was a story people didn't take seriously, but now, 20 years later, we're really in the trend and people understand that water is not just water, just taste the water and pay attention to it. If you put 2 or 3 glasses in front of you, you will notice how different water tastes. You don't need to be a genius to taste the difference. No one does it because no one pays attention. A water that holds experiences can give wellness. Water comes from a particular place and it tastes like a particular place. If you think about it, everything starts with rain. Rain is falling down from the sky, it hits the ground, and then the next journey of the water in the ground determines how much mineral and what kind of minerals the water is able to absorb. Some water stay in the ground for 7,000 years and creates this unique characteristics which we call terroir, the same word that people use for wine. Good water comes from remote places. No factories, no industry there. If you want to experience a fine water like this, it usually probably doesn't come from the city in the center where you currently live. Northern Lights definitely comes from a very special place, very well protected place. So it's the perfect place for a water to come from. Northern Light water was at a water tasting competition we organized in Los Angeles, the sparkling version. At that time it was the best sparkling water. The taste is really interesting. The water has character. It has terroir, as I would call it. And what's striking for me was that the water feels very soft, very light, very neutral. It has a very low TDS, or total dissolved solid, which means the amount of minerals in the water. That makes it kind of very special because the amount, 26 milligrams per liter, is very similar to what you will find in iceberg water or in glacier water. Sometimes if you have waters with a very high mineral content and you pair it or match it with food, then it overpowers the food. So that's why a water like Northern Lights is ideally for subtle foods. Sushi, sashimi, smoked salmon, caviar, oysters. Those are all dishes that I would like to enjoy with Northern Lights water because the water is very light, very neutral, very soft, and it would really frame those dishes very nicely. The Fine Water Society is that it's a society of small brands, small premium brands, that they all come from a natural source to distinguish themselves from what we see so many times in the supermarket, which is just processed water, basically tap water that runs into a factory and is filled into a bottle. The preferred packaging for water is, of course, a glass bottle. The best way to experience a spring source is going there, put your hands in and drink the water like this. But unfortunately, we cannot do this. So the next best thing is really a glass bottle. This is an Epicurean experience. What also makes Northern Light really special is that you can build an emotional connection with the source. I think it's so important that if you look at the bottle, if you feel the bottle, it's very tactile, that you can make this emotional connection to the source and you sense the people that want to bring that special water to you. Oh, we're doing a water tasting. Water is just like water. And then you give them 2 glasses of water. They taste 2 different waters and suddenly they realize how different waters are. I can see it in their eyes. And it's really fantastic to see how people's perception change.